In this video, I will explain to you how to balance a chemical equation based on a word problem, as well as determine the type of reaction that has taken place. In this example, we have sodium phosphate and calcium chloride yielding calcium phosphate and sodium chloride. First, in the word problem, you want to replace the yields with an equal sign, as well as write down all of the ions in the problem, such as sodium being a positive 1 cation, phosphate being -3, calcium positive 2, chloride -1. After this, you want to balance the ion pairs. So in the first equation, you have sodium and phosphate. Sodium is a +1, while phosphate is -3. So you're going to need 3 sodium to balance, making it Na3PO4, as well as calcium chloride. You're going to need 2 chloride to balance with the positive 2 calcium, because chloride is -1. Based on this, you will, on the other side, you will need 3 calcium and 2 phosphates. Remember, you need to put PO4 in parentheses and put a subscript 2 outside of it. The sodium and the chloride are already balanced, sodium being positive 1 and chloride being -1. This is the equation you are left with. As you may notice, this equation is unbalanced. If you do a count of all the atoms and polyatomic ions in the equation on both sides, you will notice that they do not equal. For instance, there are 3 sodium on one side and 1 on the other, 1 phosphate on one side and 2 on the other. We need to balance this equation. I will start with phosphate. I will multiply the sodium phosphate by 2. So now I have 6 sodium, 2 phosphates, 1 calcium, and 2 chlorides, and 1 sodium, 2 phosphates, 3 calcium, and 1 chloride on the first and second side, respectively. You will notice that the phosphates on both sides are now equal, 2 and 2. Now I will do calcium. I will multiply the calcium chloride by 3, leaving me with 6 sodium, 2 phosphate, 3 calcium, and 6 chloride on one side, and 1 sodium, 2 phosphate, 3 calcium, and 1 chloride on the other. Now the phosphate and calcium are balanced. All that I have left to do is balance the sodium and the chloride. The sodium and chloride are both 6, and on the first side, and on the second side, they are part of the same molecule. So all I need to do is multiply that molecule by 6, leaving me with the same number of atoms and polyatomic ions. Now the equation is balanced with the same number of atoms and polyatomic ions on both sides. Now to find the type of reaction that has taken place. If you look at the individual ions, you will notice that the phosphate and the chloride on both sides remain in the same place as they were on the first side. However, the sodium and calcium switch places. This makes it a single displacement reaction.